our time is divided and we're going back and forth between the two, like neither one of us can be as efficient or, as beneficial to the company as it's needed.
You're asking yourself, why am I doing this?
Smart people would know how to use all these different tools. They start with something small.
You'll never get your entire organization if you don't pull off operations. Don't give up.
It can be as small as that.
I think you guys are going to have our last today.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Delegate That podcast, where we discuss the art and science of delegation, business management, and leadership. I am, as always, your host, 𝗟𝗶𝘀𝗍𝗲, and today I am stoked to have a conversation with a friend of mine, Matt Donnelly. Matt, if you can you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us about your business?
What is up, Adam? Thank you for having me on. So I own a real estate sales team and a property management company that services like the greater Philadelphia area, Philadelphia and its suburbs. And I have a 50-50 business partner.
Very good. When did you get started in the real estate world?
So I got licensed in 2006. At that point in time, I was running my own landscaping company. Graduated college in 2004, started a landscaping company while I was a freshman in 2000. So by the time I graduated college, I happened to have, 300 clients, and I continued to kind of run that business and never really used my college degree.
Mm-hmm. What was your degree in?
Information technology, which I'm terrible with, and a minor in business.
Okay. All right. So terrible with information technology, but you got your degree in it, and then went into real estate and started running real estate stuff after doing landscaping. All right. So that's an interesting path you took to get to where you're at now. So how large is the team you're running at the moment?
So our real estate sales team right now is at 13 people.
Okay.
That includes our operations team. And then our property management company is a completely separate entity. It's a separate brokerage. It's actually its own standalone brokerage. And that has 5 people.
Most teams don't have a strategy problem. They have a systems problem. Tasks scattered across tools, goals buried in spreadsheets, and metrics no one actually checks. 𝗟𝗻𝗃𝗃 fixes that. It's a true business operating system that brings tasks, goals, and performance metrics into one connected workspace. So your team always knows what to do, why it matters, and how they're tracking. No more juggling apps. No more missed accountability. Just a clear, organized way to run your business the way it was meant to be run. If you're ready to stop managing chaos and start managing with clarity, 𝗟𝗻𝗃𝗃𝗃 is built for you. Visit 𝗟𝗻𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃.com and take control of how your team operates.
So what did it look like for you starting as an agent and then working your way through to now running your own team and having a partner? I think Matt 𝗟𝗃𝗃𝗃 is your partner, right? So Mike 𝗟𝗃𝗃𝗃. So what does your path look like to go from I'm going to be an agent in 2006 to get my license? I'm no longer going to do this landscaping stuff to now I'm going to be like a broker or a running a team.
Yeah, so it was a very interesting journey for sure. I literally just had a friend who got his real estate license, sold one property, which was his uncle's warehouse, for $1 million and made $30,000. And he was like, Donnelly, you need to become a fucking real estate agent because you would be really good at this. So I was like, all right, I got nothing to do in the off season from the landscaping. So I went ahead and got my real estate license. So I was doing landscaping. I started doing real estate, and I was also doing bartending. I was wearing 3 separate hats at that point in time. And I got to the point where I wasn't getting the real estate business that I wanted to because people saw me as a landscaper. They saw me as a bartender, and I knew real estate was my path forward. So I was like, all right, I'm selling the landscaping business. I'm going to stop bartending. I'm going to go full-time into real estate. At that point in time, my business partner now had a different business partner, and they had a very small team. It was the 2 of them and an admin, and I was their first buyer's agent. So I started working for them for a year. We hit it off very well. I needed the accountability, the systems, the structure, and it was a bad market. It was 2010, but I sold 20-some houses my first year full time, and I didn't even know what a freaking entrepreneur was, but I always had that entrepreneurial type spirit. So I was like, all right, guys, I love you. There's 2 of you. There's no room for a third. I'm going to go on my own, and I would like to eventually grow a team. So after 1 year of going on my own, I did really well, and then I hired an admin that was also doing sales, and I had a buyer agent. Mike and his partner at that point in time ended up splitting off. His partner wanted to go more into management. He had a young child, so Mike had his team, and now I was growing a team. Every day, first car there, last car to leave was me and him. He walks in my office freaking 9 o'clock at night on a Tuesday and was like, yo, man, why don't we just combine our two teams? We know we work really well together, and let's see what we can do together. So I was like, absolutely. His team was like years ahead of where my team was because it had the years built in. So that was in 2014. Me and Mike, so we combined our teams. We learned, a lot of failing forward type with the real estate team stuff. There wasn't a ton of real estate teams back then. Fast forward a couple of years after that, one of our mentors who had a property management company, and he did mainly commercial stuff. So he needed help with the marketing of his stuff. So we were, helping him market some of his commercial stuff. We were tag teaming on some deals. He wanted me and Mike to eventually take over the property management company for him. We were literally golfing. He takes us out golfing and he's like, hey guys, I want to start the process now of, what does it look like for you guys to take over the property management company? 3 days later, he freaking died of a heart attack. I know. So very, very tough time. He was just a great person. Mike's very first mentor when he first got his real estate license. Gary had his own brokerage and he worked for him. So anyway, we don't know shit about running a property management company. And the one that he had was a mom and pop shop, handshake contracts, not a real business. So we had to buy it from the estate. And obviously the estate thought it was worth way more than what it was actually worth. So we had that whole period of time where we finally came up with a number that made sense. And now it's like, oh shit, how do we run a property management company? The good news is, most entrepreneurs, like you want a company that can run without you, that doesn't require you in the day-to-day of doing everything. The real estate sales company required a lot of our attention. We were in the day-to-day of that. And so we really we were forced to hire somebody to run the property management company. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise that we're going to have this other company where we're forced to have someone else kind of run it. We're there, we're doing meetings, but we're really operating just on the business, not in the business in any way, shape, or form. Now, of course, we didn't really make any money for a couple of years doing so, but it was okay because it brought opportunities. The way that we looked at it was, hey, this is in our hometown, this property management company. The properties that we manage are in that portfolio. Some of them are bank buildings, some of them are commercial space, a lot of single family, some multifamily. So we're like, hey, this is more bigger picture stuff. This gives us an opportunity, a foot in the door to potentially buy this stuff one day down the road. So we really don't look at like, hey, we have to make money out of this necessarily now because our income came from the real estate sales team. So after a lot of failing forward, going through a couple of different people, we now have a business that, really support us. The past 2 years, real estate sales has been terrible. Our business went down significantly from where we were doing. But now we have this property management company, which is a legit business, which, has, $250,000 in profit that we're able to, pull from and do distributions. Also, we were able to buy, a bunch of stuff that we put in our own portfolio. Our biggest purchase, we just did it a couple months ago, is the building that we operate our businesses out of. There's a bank on the first floor. We operate on the second floor. So it is on the corner of, a very prominent corner in our town on the main street, drive-through bank downstairs. We operate upstairs, $1.5 million purchase, triple net lease. We never probably would have been able to buy this building if we didn't buy the property management company.
Yeah. Wow. So pardon me. It sounds like the opportunity just kind of fell in your lap and you jumped on it and said, all right, let's go ahead and do this. A lot of people may have been a little bit more scared, may have been like, I don't really know, like this already isn't running very well. And now we got to figure out how to do this. What do you think it was between you and Mike that said, I think we could do this. I think we can make this happen? Like
all good partnerships, you got complete opposites. So Mike was ready to throw up, did not want to move forward. And I was pushing it. So he's more conservative, which is very much needed, analytical. I'm more of, hey, fuck it, it'll work out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a lot. It was kind of, a little bit of friction trying to get there, but he saw the bigger opportunity and, he begrudgingly went forward with it, and now he loves it. He now runs the property management company. So we split up the duties. Now he's running the property management. I'm running the real estate sales.
Very cool. So when it comes to kind of managing all of this stuff. So when it comes to kind of running and managing all of this stuff, I mean, you've got both of you guys working in your separate lanes, but yet you guys are both owners of both sides, right? So now you're going to have to kind of manage both teams, making sure that all of it's running smooth, making sure that everybody's doing kind of what they're supposed to be doing, so the business itself goes and does its thing. What sort of tools, what sort of things are you doing to make sure that both people kind of have their lane, but understand what's going on, but yet you guys both are moving in the same direction?
Yeah, so we started implementing EOS 2 years ago. So we hired an EOS implementer, Jason Gennady. He is amazing. He's in GoPoints as well. So he helped out. We did that with the real estate sales team, and then we brought it into the property management. So we certainly have a lot of meetings that overlap where we're both in those meetings. But for the property management meetings, there's a lot that I'm not in and Mike's in. And then on the real estate sales team, there's a lot of meetings that I'm in that Mike's not in. So a lot of it is, going with your leadership group, the operations team on each of them, and then working through the different rocks, what we're trying to accomplish. And knowing that, if our time is divided and we're going back and forth between the two, neither one of us can be as efficient or, as beneficial to the company as it's needed. So anyway, I have complete trust in him. He has complete trust in me. And again, a lot of times there's decisions I can make that end up being wrong, or he makes end up being wrong. And that's okay. Neither one of us expect perfection out of the other.
Which is good. I mean, there's no way to actually get that perfection, but knowing that you're going into the partnership that says, hey, I'm going to be doing everything I can to drive forward. You do everything you can to make sure that we've got the reins where we need to. It's such a good balance by the sounds of things between the two of you guys. I know one of the things you said that you're, as far as what we talk about often on this podcast is, getting your time back. What sort of things do you use to make sure that you're getting your time back? I mean, before we started recording, you talked about getting your kids ready for school, even after you got done working out. So, I mean, you're finding ways to work out, get your kids ready for school, run multiple teams, run multiple businesses. How are you managing all of that? What are you doing to get your time back to make sure that you're staying focused on the important things and still be able to be an engaged dad?
Yeah, so obviously the important things are, which I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs put it on the back burner or it takes them a long time to get there, is, family and health. I lost my brother-in-law at 46 years old. I'm 44. He was playing tennis, dropped dead, had a heart attack. 2 young kids, right? So when that happened, it really kind of forced me. I was like, shit, man, I think I'm healthy, right? I got introduced to a functional medicine doctor, and I started using that functional medicine doctor very shortly after he passed away. So by doing that, you're doing much more detailed and intensive, blood test, urine, saliva, stool, all that other stuff. I went through a stressful period of time with some of the projects we were doing with work. I lost my dad. I lost my brother-in-law. I got these tests done. My adrenal glands were completely shot. Right. So I'm like, oh, shit, what's only going to get worse if I don't address it? So I made it a focus to start addressing it, and being a good dad and being, active in my kid's life was a non-negotiable, just the way that I'm hardwired. I love playing. I still like playing. I'm like a big kid.
It's very true. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So that's always been the at the forefront, and it's just no, that's most important. I have to get my workouts in. Today's a big day. I'm doing a podcast with you at 9:00 in the morning. We're doing our EOS day with our operations team, which I have to run at 11:00. Right, so that's going to be 4 hours where we're locked in a room together. I get an extra accountability level because I pay for a trainer that I know at 6 a.m. I got to be there for it, right? So if I don't have accountability partners, it's much more easy for me to not do things, and I know that that's a potential weakness of mine. So I just put those safe places in place, and it works out really well for me.
So, if we looked at this, there's that analogy of you've got your jar, and if you fill it up with all the superfluous stuff, all the sand, then it fills up and you can't put on any of the big rocks, the big things that are most important. So you figured out that you've applied that thought process and said, hey, these are my big rocks. These are the things I need to focus on: my health, my family, put those in, make sure that those are going good. Then we're going to put the business in, then we're going to let all that stuff go around it. And I'm listening to a book again called Willpower Doesn't Work, which is a great book, basically talking about what you just said, right? Put the things in place in your life that force you to do the things that you need to do, right? Like instead of just saying, hey, I'm not going to eat the carbohydrates, just set it up in your life that you don't have a bunch of carbohydrates in your house. Like I'm not, I'm going to get workouts. No, like already start paying for the gym or paying for a trainer that comes to your house to knock it out. So you're forcing yourself to do these things. So I love that you've kind of just dedicated the hey, these are the things that I need to do. And I'm going to make sure that I set my life up to make those things happen. So well done on that one.
Yeah, that's 𝗵𝗫𝗀𝗃𝗃, right? The Willpower Doesn't Work. Yeah. He came to GoBundance, I think it was 2018. And one of the things that he said at that meeting that stuck with me, to today is like, the person you want to be 5 years from now, like write down those things. Like in 5 years from now, your future self, what are you doing? Right. And a lot of those things, after you write them down, like you can start doing them today, right? In your mind, you're saying, no, this is who I want to be in 5 years from now. But if you want to be, in shape or have a six pack, you want to start doing that now. You want to, buy a beach house. Maybe you can buy a beach house right now. Maybe not the one that's overlooking the ocean, but maybe you get a townhouse in the community, which I actually did that year with that mindset. So that was one thing from 𝗵𝗫𝗀𝗃𝗃 that literally stuck with me that has helped out, through the course of the past, 8 years now is like your future self in 5 years from now, write it down. And a lot of those things you can actually.
Yeah, his book, a lot of his books have been phenomenal, and I love being able to listen to them kind of pull things from him. That's why I just said I'm re-listening to that book again, right? Because those principles are phenomenal, and you stick to them and you run through them, and when you really buckle down and say, hey, this is where I can go, this is what I can do, this is who I can be, just like 10x is easier than 2x. Wow, I mean, it really is. I'm gonna. What do I need to do to have that goal from my 5-year goal be my 1 year goal? All right, let's give it a whirl. Let's go for it. So it's phenomenal. So speaking of goals, how do you and Mike kind of set up your goals for the year? How do you guys manage your teams to make sure that everybody's moving towards? Obviously, you've already mentioned the EOS. You're going to be having your EOS meetings and everything. But as you're going through on your day-to-day basis, what does it look like to apply all of that and keep your team motivated and focused?
Every Monday, we have our operations meeting, which we run the level 10 meeting through EOS. Every Thursday, we have with our operations team, we're working on projects, whatever it is. So we're sitting in a room, maybe two of us are working on one thing, two of us are working on something else, one person's working on something else. But having that collaboration where we're forced to work on things, have a meeting, level 10 meeting, what are we trying to accomplish? And then we have a separate meeting later in the week where we're working on stuff. We use the Monday board, which I don't know if you're familiar with Monday or not, but it's a software system, actually recommended by 𝗵𝗫𝗀𝗃𝗃, that our director of operations created for us, which is really good for assigning tasks, to-dos, who's the owner of it, what's the due date, is it on track? So that's been a game changer for us too. So we actually run our level 10 meetings through Monday now as well. And then we have our operations to-dos, which we put in there, and then so if I'm going through, I know I have all this stuff to do. Instead of sending an email that's going to get lost in the billion other emails that come, I got to put it in the Monday board and then assign it to who the owner is and put a due date in.
Very good. Do you yourself have an assistant that kind of helps you manage all of that stuff as well? Or do you just like, nope, I'm buckled down, I'll do it all myself?
Yeah, so I don't. So we had an executive assistant who was really good. Then she, pretty much got promoted into our director of operations. So
okay.
Our director of ops.
Yeah. So, because like every time I'm in charge of having to put in my own stuff into those systems, my brain goes 1,000 miles an hour, and I'm already over there before I have a chance to even put anything into it. So I struggle so badly with those systems. I need to find better things for me to manage those. But hey, like that's why I have an assistant. I could send her a message and say, hey, please do this for me. Please put that in there for me because I'll forget. So what sort of tools, you said Monday already, right? And you've obviously said EOS, so you're running EOS stuff. What sort of other tools do you help for managing your communication, for making sure that things run smoothly, for making sure your teams are all on the same page, that like you could not live without?
So for our real estate sales team, we have a WhatsApp group, right? So a big WhatsApp group. A lot of times, agent throws in a question in there. Hey, we have our team meeting this Wednesday, we're going over there. So we communicate a lot through like the group team, which is, more people through there. Mm-hmm. We have 𝗟𝗶𝘀𝗀𝗃𝗃, which is specifically used for property management as our property management software, where a lot of communication happens through there.
So the communication directly, obviously for property management, there's a lot that goes into that, making sure that the maintenance requests are getting done, making sure all that stuff is getting accomplished, make sure rent's getting paid on time, all of those different things that are going through. So AppFolio helps you manage all of that. Any extra questions and all that you knock out through WhatsApp and through your weekly meetings. What has your team kind of looked at? Like how does the team communicate with you when there's struggles going on, when there's these things are maybe not going as smooth as they'd want? Like how do you make sure that your team is still feeling the confidence that they need to push through? And maybe it's one-on-ones, maybe it's I don't know, whatever you're doing. How do you make sure that all of your team is feeling good about everything that's going on?
Yeah, so because we have these safeguards in place where we're meeting weekly, we do one-on-ones quarterly. If they have an issue, if it's a real estate sales team, specifically with a transaction, they're talking to the transaction coordinator, getting a hold of them. Liz, our director of operations, is also always available. We have a marketing director who's available for the marketing stuff. It's very easy to get a hold of me and Mike or Wells. So if it's a phone call, a text message, hey, I need some extra help. We always make ourselves available. It's more so like, hey, I got an EOS meeting. I'm not going to be available till 4 p.m. today. Let me know that.
Okay, very good. So tell me about some struggles that you've had in the past that you had to work through that you were like, hey, like this thing really broke on our team. We really hurt real bad. Like this is how we work through it. Or, like our number one, whatever, quit on us or something. Talk about some of the struggles that some people don't really like to share on podcasts.
Yeah, no, it's definitely people, right? It's so hard to get the right people. And oftentimes you don't know if they're the right people until they're here for, a couple months. And then when you do have the right people, they're still working for you and they can always leave, right? So it's like, you can't really even take it personally. Sometimes there's other stuff that's going on. So for us, it's definitely been getting the right people. You have the right person. We just had, someone that was near and dear and doing a great job running the office for the property management company that just left us right before Christmas. We had a new hire that just started 2 weeks prior. Neither one of them knew they were both quitting, and they both quit on the same day.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
Right before the holidays. So now it's like, all right, full attention and focus on property management. So now I'm coming in doing a lot more because my help's needed more over there. And let's shuffle things around, get somebody in, and work together. So we've had our transaction coordinator has been with us for a long time, but she had a kid 4 or 5 years ago. She had to leave us. So we had to find a transaction coordinator, and we went through 2 other people until finally she came back to us.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. I tell people that all the time, just like, your business hiring and firing is what is going to make a massive difference in your company. Just like in real estate, it's the most expensive thing to have to fire and hire somebody new. And it's the most expensive thing to have to change somebody over inside of apartments or inside of your house, because, you're going to lose a month of rent. You're going to lose all the stuff. You're going to have to do all these repairs, and it just gets expensive. So the smoother you can make those processes, the better you can make those processes, the sharper you can be in knowing that you're hiring the right person, knowing that your process to change over your tenant is super smooth and everything gets done quickly. The less heartache it is, the less money is going right out the window for no reason. But I'd say that it sounded the way that it sounded. What you just said was it's also super important to rely on your team in those moments, because you mentioned earlier in the conversation you run the real estate team, Mike runs the property management, but man, oh man, property management needed help right over there. We're making it happen. Real estate team is functioning by themselves. They know that they can find me, but man, we need to double down on property management. So having good partners, good teammates, and knowing the systems. So speaking of knowing the systems, you have these people leave. 2 of them quit on the same day, right before the holidays. Do you guys already have SOPs created? Do you guys already know, excuse me, do you guys already have SOPs created? Do you guys already know, if what somebody needs to do? When I was in the military, we used to talk about it as if I get hit by a bus binder, right? So if I walked outside, I got hit by a bus, somebody could pick up the binder and know exactly what to do. Like, do you guys have all that set up in your systems already?
We do, but it really only works if you have that person train the next person. There's a huge human element to all of this, which we're fortunate. Like when people do leave us, it's not because they don't like us or we didn't treat them right. So they've always gone above and beyond for helping us transition to the next person, whoever their replacement is. So that's been great for us. Because again, I'm not going to be good at trying to train you for being the office manager for the property management company.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, and the other hard part with being human is like even like it's also tough to let people go. because there's enough of a dating and due diligence to realize they're a good person, and typically they're going to fit in the personality of our business. So if they don't have the talent, or maybe they're just in the wrong seat, it's tough. It's tough to fire someone and let somebody go.
For sure. One of the things that I talked to somebody about before, and I think I've mentioned it on this podcast, is it's actually when it's time to let somebody go, it's actually very gracious to let them go, because they may be feeling it as well, right? Like if it's not the fit for them, they need to know that, and they need to be able to go and be in the fit that they're supposed to be. I was just trying to hire for my new business, and one kid, you could tell he was really smart, really, but he was just not going to fit in this spot. I was like, you need to go find a tech job. You don't need to be interacting with customers. It's just not your strong suit. I need you to be in a tech job because you're really smart. You're going to do all these things. So when somebody's not the right fit, man, oh man, like you got to let them free. You got to let them go and find where they are going to be the right fit, even if it is painful, because it's easy to fire somebody when they break rules, when they're acting a fool, when they're treating customers poorly. It's super easy to fire them because you're like, no, like that's my business. You're ruining it. But it's not so easy when they're super nice people, and it's very like, man, oh man, you got such a good heart, but this just isn't the right spot for you. So it's tough. What recommendations would you give for letting somebody go on those terms? Like when it's not like this is clear, I've got to fire you, but man, oh man, I really like you. What sort of recommendations do you have on that?
It's definitely having the line of communication open and having heart while you're doing it, right? So if you just said out of nowhere, they had no idea, hey, sorry, it's not working out. We're paying for the next 2 weeks and you're going to go. That gives no clarity to that person whatsoever, right? So it's really like, if you realize that you are going to be letting someone go, you're doing more meetings with them leading up to it to really say, hey, this is what we're expecting. Here's our standard. I need you to track X, Y, and Z. And if they're not doing it, then it's much easier to show them, okay, listen, we've been meeting here for the past couple of weeks. You were supposed to do these different things. I feel like you didn't do them correctly, or you failed here, here, and here. Unfortunately, this isn't working out. And always, how can we help you find, another job?
Yep, putting them on a PIP, as it were, perform a personnel improvement program to make sure that they understand where they're at, what's going on. Open and honest communication is by far where you need to go with it, for sure. I think some people, because they hate those conversations so much, they just avoid it, and then all of a sudden it piles up so much that they just flip out and fire people instead of having good leadership, good management, helping them understand where things are going, and being the leader that the company needs you to be. So. If Mike were to sit here right now and tell us about Matt and the skills and strengths that he has inside of the company, what would he say they are?
Mike would. So the one thing me and Mike certainly have in common is we're both just like hard workers. We come from backgrounds where we started working at a very young age and helped provide for our families. So he would certainly say I'm a hard worker. He would agree that our personalities we're different people. I'm much more positive. Like I'm over optimistically positive, right? Where oftentimes I believe anything can get done. We can do it. This can get done. I'm like, no, there's no way that can get done, right? So there's like a lot of meeting in the middle. It depends on where I'm at and where he's at on everything. And then a lot of the people in the team normally, they'll come to me because I am a people person.
Do you guys exhaust each other, or does that partnership tend to just be like, no, like this, we feed so well off of each other that there's no exhausting of each other?
Oh, no, definitely exhaust each other, definitely feed off each other. It all depends on what's going on. You're just putting out, there's so many different fires that come from a company. So it's like, Mike's hair could be on fire and mine's not right now. Mm-hmm. Or vice versa. So there's a lot of different things, just kind of reading, hey, where's our temperament at right now? How much stuff do they have on their plate? The thing I have to talk about, maybe it's not that important. I need to bring it up right now. I'll wait till there's a better spot.
The reason I ask that question is there are a lot of people that have partners or they think that there's just no way I could have a partner because if they don't do it my way or whatever. And it's just one of those things that's if you want to go far, go together, or if you want to go fast, go alone, right? So go far with your partner and realize that not everything is going to be rainbows and butterflies all the time. Not everything is going to be perfect. You're going to have things you have to work through. You're going to have employee issues. You're going to have meeting problems. You're going to have spots where you rub each other the wrong way. But in the grand scheme of things, when you stay, respectful of each other and you both have the right end goal in mind, you're going to be able to work through it. And you're going to be able to push through it, and you're going to become better because of it. So, I like too many people I see just, that partner didn't work out because, we just didn't get along. And it's like, man, oh man, how much effort did you use to try to get along? You're like, this takes work. This takes effort to run businesses and partnerships.
Every time we've been through something, we've been through, just big things that required a lot of energy, and it was scary and whatever. And every time we've been through this, we get through the other side, it makes us that much stronger together. And so the next time we face it, we're like, hey, we've been through this before, or something similar like this. So we've gotten through a ton of those already. So we've been business partners now for 12 years. We probably have 10 LLCs together. We own the majority of all our real estate's 50-50. Like, I'm married just as much to him as I am to my wife.
Oh boy, that changed the direction of this conversation real quickly. Well, Matt, it's been awesome. We've touched on so many different things. Is there anything in your company or in your in the business, in the family, whatever, that you would like to make sure that we hit on before we jump ship?
No, I think this has been great, Adam. I really appreciate that you brought me on. It's great to be able to listen to other business owners and what they're going through. So providing a platform for that is pretty remarkable. So just thank you for allowing me to spend a little time with you.
No, I greatly appreciate it, Matt. It's great to catch up with you and hear a little bit more about your guys' team. So everybody listening, if there's anything that Matt can do for you, please reach out. Speaking of, how do they reach out? Boy, I failed miserably at that one. If somebody wanted to get a hold of you, Matt, what is the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, they can look me up right on our website, which is homeexpertsforyou.com, homeexpertsforyou.com.
homeexpertsforyou.com. Matt Donnelly. If there's anything Matt can do for you, if there's anything that you heard here and you're just like, I want to pick his brain more, or hey, I got a house I need to sell up there in the Philly area, reach out to Matt. Let him know that you found him here. Share this podcast with anybody you think is going to get something out of it. Again, like, we covered a lot of different topics here. There are a lot of different things that we worked on, we worked through, because when you're running a business, there are a lot of different things you need to work through and think about. So if there's anything that we touched on that you really appreciate it, please like and subscribe, share this with somebody, comment below and let us know what your favorite part was. We thank you all for listening. I thank you again, Matt, for jumping on, and we will see everybody on the next show.